Hi, everyone. How are you? You are getting me in full-on workout clothes. Hi. I am here to do a live with all of you. This is a live Q&A. So anything fertility related you want to ask me, I'm yours. Live Q&A. One thing I will ask of you is to not put questions in the feed here because it's just a lot for my brain, but put them in the question box. So how you do that is there's a circle with a question mark in the middle of it. It's on the lower part of your screen. Press that, enter in your question, and I will go through and I'll answer questions, and I'll hang out here for about 30 minutes answering questions. And I'll let those questions start rolling in. So hi to everybody who's new following me. I'm Aimee Raupp. I am a women's health and wellness fertility. I like to call myself a detective, but I guess you would say I'm an expert. So again, don't ask questions in the feed here. You have to ask them in the question box. So it's that circle with the question mark in the middle. Put your questions there, and then I will go through and start answering. I've been helping women and their partners get and stay pregnant for 20 years, 2 decades. I had a very long clinical experience where I was seeing upwards of 60 patients a week for over 10 years. So you do the math. And probably 80 to 90% of them were women trying to conceive. And then over the last few years, I've moved more into a desk job where I coach all over the world, women all over the world. And I've been doing that now. I've been coaching actually for about 6 years, 7 years, but the practice has grown tremendously since COVID. I have 4 fertility coaches now on my team, 3 fertility coaches, 4 including me. And we also have a team psychotherapist. We take the mental health piece really seriously. She's a PhD, specializes in trauma. And I've written multiple books in the space of fertility. I work with lots of reproductive endocrinologists. I have very great relationships with all of them. I'm very much like an East meets West kind of gal. I'm not all natural, and I'm not all hardcore Western either. I try to really meet my patients where they're at and help support them. We work a lot on diet and on lifestyle, on supplements, on mindset, on spirituality pieces. We do additional functional medicine testing. We are actually currently accepting applications for my July cohort of the FFP program, which is my 6-month intensive. If you guys go to aimeeraupp.com/FFP, as in Functional Fertility Program, FFP, you can apply to be accepted there. We've had 7 applicants so far for this cohort, and we only accept about 4 to 6, so keep that in mind. But feel free to apply. I'll actually pin it here, aimeeraupp.com/FFP. I'm also the co-founder of the latest and greatest fertility supplement line called Rejuva, REJOOVA. I've collaborated with my good friend Mark Sklar and Dr. Murphy of Rejuvenating Fertility Center, who is a reproductive endocrinologist, and we've created Rejuva Eggs, Rejuva Sperm, and Rejuva Repair. You can learn all about them on our website at getrejuva.com, REJOOVA.com. We completely customized and formulated these formulations. We did not white label these. There's nothing like them on the market. And we obviously worked with a researcher and a reproductive endocrinologist. We've been out of stock with the Rejuva Repair and Rejuva Eggs for too long. And the stock is actually en route to us right now. So all of you waiting on your back orders. If you look behind me, you'll see a bunch of boxes on the floor because we're getting ready to ship to you, and we can't wait to get you back on our products. They sold out much faster than we anticipated, but people are really, really excited about the products and about the results they're seeing thus far. Now, there are lots of questions in here, so I know. Thank you for your patience. I mean, I'm beside myself with how much longer it took, and none of it's in our control, unfortunately. We were told 5 to 6 weeks from when we placed the order, and it's taken 9. So it's been stressful. I'm not going to lie. I have Aimee Raupp Beauty that I've had for years, and I've never had a problem like this. So this is new energy and information for me. Like, when we run out, I can make it. I am the manager of that. This, we have to buy all the ingredients, and then someone else has to encapsulate them. We took out. There was magnesium stearate in the first round, and we've taken that out. That actually caused a delay because of how it encapsulates and yada, yada, yada. So for those of you that are asking questions here in the feed, I'm not going to answer them here. So Anya, please take this question and put it in the question box. It's a question mark with this circle around it. So I'm going to start from the bottom. Okay. Best to get uterine polyps removed, or can diet acupuncture get rid of them? What causes them? Who knows what really causes them? I mean, Chinese medicine, we would say stagnation, compromised blood flow, things kind of getting stuck. Sometimes it's dampness. So it could be from a digestive component too. It could be gut health, that kind of thing. But we don't really know the exact cause. Some women get them removed, and that completely changes their fertility outcomes, and others can get pregnant with them. So hard to say. I would say if you were my client and you've actively been trying to get pregnant and it hasn't happened, or you've had multiple losses or repeat implantation failure, I would 100% do the hysteroscopy and get them removed. Low histamine foods for on the go. I think my Lara bars and meat sticks are too much lately. Always bloated. They could definitely be. With histamine, it's more of a, you can't avoid histamines. They're in everything, right? Protein-based products, when sat out, meaning like leftovers, get very high histamine very fast. So, it's about lowering the overall exposure of the histamines. So good question of like low histamine snack foods. I have to Google that, because I just need a couple of jumpstart ideas, and then I'll be able to give you more. Because I would think like nuts and seeds, hummus, things like that, hard-boiled eggs. That's kind of like my initial thoughts. Low histamine food list. This is on Etsy, but I don't know how I got here. But I also have a list of low histamine foods in my book, The Egg Quality Diet, where I talk about histamine and SIBO and how it could be impacting your fertility. But let's see. Okay, tortilla chips, rice cakes, popcorn, zucchini chips. I like that. Golden milk. I like that. I would think I'm going to stick with my hard-boiled eggs, like even the seaweed snacks, because those are low histamine, the sea snacks. Not a lot of protein in some of these. Maybe a smoothie and like kind of on the go, take it with you and do low histamine. This website's taking forever to load. I don't know what's going on with my, it looks all very carby. Rice cake, fruit, right? Fruit is a good one. Low histamine fruit, that is. Popcorn, maybe. I don't know. Tortilla chips, maybe. Zucchini chips, that sounds okay. Golden milk. Chia pudding, that's a great one. I like that. The chia pudding is a really good recommendation. Carrots. I would say carrots with some hummus or nut butter. That would be a good one. Roasted chickpeas. So there you go. Those are some good options for you. Okay. I got 3 kg during egg quality diet. My cholesterol also went quite high. Am I doing something wrong? Some people don't do well with the full fat coconut milk. When we see cholesterol jump, that's the first thing I think of, or gaining weight. So I would go to the coconut milk light or cut back altogether on the coconut milk stuff and see if that makes a difference. I'd also make sure you're taking a probiotic, and I'd also make sure that you're doing some kind of serapeptase, like a WOB enzyme or a Seragold, which helps break down accumulations. Did I say good probiotic too, so that you're helping with absorption. All of my recommended supplements, guys, are on my website, aimeeraupp.com/fertility supplements. So please don't ask me I'm just going to tell you to go to that website. Okay. So I don't think you're necessarily doing something wrong. I think maybe the fat is too much. So maybe also look at the avocado intake and the full fat coconut milk intake. Failed IUI with all blood work being optimal. Hysteroscopy removal, some polyps a month before. Any insight? I mean, not every IUI is going to work, right? I think 25% chance, maybe less, of it working. Make sure you're looking at sperm health. I would just keep at it. Make sure you're doing all the things, from, read my books, follow that stuff. Make sure like diet and supplements and lifestyle, exercise, all those things of like, but I would keep at it. What cycle day is ideal to check uterine lining? After ovulation. So, I mean, if we're thinking about implantation, is that what you mean, to see how thick the lining is? Usually it kind of reaches optimal thickness, I suppose, like 7 days post ovulation. If I'm taking beef liver capsules along with DHA and prenatal, how much beef liver? Paleo Valley. My general recommendation for liver or organ meats is 1,500 milligrams a day. So each brand is different. You have to read the back of the label and see what each capsule, but usually the equivalent is 1,500 milligrams a day. And again, all my recommended supplements and brands are on AimEeRaupp.com/fertility supplements. Do pregnant women need to start choline supplements at the very beginning of pregnancy? I think choline is really important in conception as well. And most women are not getting enough. If you're following like the egg quality diet and you're eating the eggs and you're taking the liver, you're probably getting plenty of choline, to be honest. And then a good prenatal that has at least 100, 150 milligrams of choline. But yeah, in pregnancy, I do think it's smart. I like sunflower lecithin as a really good source of choline. There's also some good choline supplements out there. You just have to make sure they're soy-free. So I guess that answers your question. I mean, I would start at preconception, but like if you just found out you're pregnant and you're not taking extra choline, definitely add it in, sure. I'm 42 with multiple failed IVFs. Please advise. I would get my FET checklist, AimEeRaupp.com/FET. Isn't that funny? I don't know. AimEeRaupp.com/FET. Let's see. Yeah, I would go there and look at everything I tell you to do on there and check the boxes. AimEeRaupp.com/FET, as in frozen embryo transfer. I asked my doctor to prescribe endometritis antibiotics before I'll try first-time IVF. He agreed, but just wants to do it month before IVF. In your opinion, is it okay, or should I do it some months before so I have time to read? No, I think it's fine to do it the month before. I think that's perfectly fine, and I think it's smart. Yeah. Do you recommend Dr. Pompas approach, chelators and binders while doing IVF? I don't recommend chelators and binders while trying to conceive, no. If I have to do them with patients, which we often do, we're doing it in the follicular phase, but once they could be pregnant, we're not doing it. So for you, it depends. Are you just retrieving and then not transferring? Then you could do it, sure. But, it just kind of depends. I don't know who Dr. Pompas is, though, too. Is there a vegetarian alternative for bone broth? So if you go to my website, AimEeRaupp.com/fertility supplements, I have my bone broth recommendations. There's one company called Beauty and the Broth, and she has a really nice vegetarian bone broth option. And then if you have the egg quality diet, the resources page that's linked out in that book, I don't give out that page because you need to own the book. That's my right as the author. I want you to purchase the book to get access to the page. It has vegetarian broth options as well. And then you could just Google that too, like vegetarian bone broth options. Is estrogen dominance linked to gut health? Yeah, most of the time. How long can it take to see healing? I'd say 3 to 6 months, maybe longer. It just really depends. But yeah, it's like when the gut health is off, and that means absorption, digestion, regulation. I always like to say, like, the pipes get clogged, and so estrogen, we just have a hard time detoxifying estrogen. The detox pathways are really compromised. So yeah, if I would do the egg quality diet in earnest, the 100 days there, and it'll totally help reset the estrogen dominance. And that's my latest book, Egg Quality Diet. It came out, I think, 2 years ago now. 44, surprise pregnancy at 41. Got the vaccine 4 days later, had a miscarriage. And another 5 to 6 week miscarriage, AMH 1.4. So is there a question in there? Yeah, I mean, I would look with multiple miscarriages. I would really go to my miscarriage recommendations, AimEeRaupp.com/miscarriage. There's a PDF that tells you everything I would recommend if you've had multiple miscarriages and what to look at and look for. I would also consider a hysteroscopy just to make sure the uterine environment is ready to hold a pregnancy. Just got a histo, results in focal myochondrial endometritis. Dr. Luke put me on 14 days of doxy. Do you think I should do another histo prior to FET? No, I think you should trust the course of antibiotics is going to do its job. Good job on getting the hysteroscopy and advocating for yourself. Although Luke is great at that. They usually check. Can you describe the testing you would do for an RPL patient? I feel like I've done everything and still have no answers. So go to my AimEeRaupp.com/miscarriage. On that page, you're going to find it's an entire panel of everything we recommend getting done from a recurrent pregnancy loss perspective. I really love the Pregmune testing, and also Fertilisys has a great recurrent pregnancy loss panel. So, but every single test I have listed at AimEeRaupp.com/miscarriage, it should be tested. So many women come to us and have had multiple losses, and the doctors say they did a complete panel, and we ask for the results, and 99.9% of the time it is an incomplete panel, and it's really upsetting. So the entire panel is listed out at AimEeRaupp.com/miscarriage. I tested positive for H. pylori. Can this be one in the way of my fertility? Yes, it could be, because it's impacting nutrient absorption. It's impacting digestion function. It would impact egg quality. I think it could impact. So when we see H. pylori, because we do a lot of functional medicine testing here, and it's not my area of expertise, but I sit on all the calls because it's my practice. When we see H. pylori, we also always see, what do they call, opportunistic overgrowths. And those opportunistic overgrowths are typically things that are going to throw off the microbiome for both uterine, vaginal, and GI, and that will impact your ability to get and stay pregnant. So I think so, yes. It's crazy how many H. pylori infections we see, too, when we test our patients. And then we treat it, and things start to shift. Currently trying to clear out H. pylori with your team. Is there a relation to the histamine intolerance? Sadly, beans make me the most bloated and can't do seaweed because of my Hashis. Is there a relation to the histamine? I would think so too. So as you're clearing the H. pylori and you're also resetting the opportunistic infections that have come up due to the H. pylori being low or high, being present, we'll just say that, having an infection, your histamine reaction should decrease. I would also inquire about being on some histamine supplements. So there's a good Probiotic Histamine X by Seeking Health. Then he also just has a regular histamine supplement. I would probably put you on both of those too, so that you can continue to address it and manage the histamines. And then if you can't do the beans, I can't do beans either. I would do nuts and seeds, or just seeds, like the chia seed pudding looks like a great snack. I would do hard-boiled eggs. I would do bone broth that is fresh made or right from frozen to cooked, because that's going to have super low histamine. the smoothies like we talked about. So I think those are all still really good options for you. And if you're working with one of my coaches, please also bring this question to them because they should answer that for you. Any advice on how not to gain weight while on Orlissa suppression? I would just follow the egg quality diet like I would do. I would eat as clean as possible and just focus on lots of protein and veggies and lots of green leafy vegetables to support the detox pathways. Liver support soup, which is in my books, is one of the best ways to do that. I had 2 failed IVFs due to a chromosome. The first was chromosome 21 and chromosome 3 and 17. I started acupuncture, started supplements. I went to get blood work. My liver enzymes are high. What do you suggest? I'm going to start liver detox soup. Good. Yeah, I would look at supplements. So sometimes, and this is why we're so anal at Rejuva too, of like sometimes the supplements have a lot of crap in them. Make sure your supplements are soy-free, gluten-free, corn-free, like all the things, all the fillers. Make sure you're taking the right supplements for you. And I know obviously I can't answer that to your case. I would look at my supplement list, AimEeRaupp.com/fertility supplements. And, I would take those kind of brands that I have recommended there to make sure they're good ones. I'd probably go on a serapeptase of some sort, so Wobenzyme or Ceregold. Those are my 2 favorite. That will help bring down the enzymes. And if you're on Chinese herbs, I would maybe play around with those because those sometimes can increase the liver enzymes. What can I substitute for wild salmon? I would just say any good quality fatty fish, right? So we have women all over the world who do the egg quality diet and we can't always get, but I just say a good quality fatty fish. I love using the Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch. They have lists for people in all parts. So, but there's other fish that is, similar to the salmon, like, again, why am I blanking on this? What's going on with my internet? It's like super slow. Arctic char and rainbow trout. Those are the 2. I couldn't think of the char. Arctic char, my husband loves to cook Arctic char. And it looks just like salmon. Trout is another good one. And listen to it. The egg quality diet of if you can't find the salmon or the cod, just eat a good quality fish, if that makes sense. I've just lost where my questions are. Sorry. I asked about uterine lining concerns because my period is short and weak, 26-day cycle. Again, that just takes time to rebuild because especially I think this is the same one with the H. pylori infection. If there's an active infection, the body is not absorbing its nutrients, so it can't make enough blood to then thicken the lining to also maybe prioritize pregnancy, that there's some other low-lying infection going on, which I think you found it in the H. pylori, and that's compromising the blood flow, I would say. I would also make sure you're doing castor oil packs. You could even consider Chinese herbs, of course, acupuncture. All of those things are really going to help build the uterine lining as well. But nutrient absorption is critical to healthy eggs and healthy uterine lining. And if you have an H. pylori infection, you have to, that is top priority. Okay. Sorry, 5 miscarriages, unexplained reasons. There's never an unexplained reason. I love you. I'm not saying you are saying that. There's a reason. AimEeRaupp.com/miscarriage. Download that PDF. Get all those tests done. You have to get recurrent pregnancy loss testing. There's no one should have 5 miscarriages without a live birth in between. And it has nothing to do with your low AMH. The low AMH, it's probably endometriosis, and endometriosis impacts AMH because endo likes to hang out at the ovaries and the AMH is secreted by the ovaries. Again, I don't know your case, so I'm generalizing greatly here, but please just go to the miscarriage panel and get all that testing done and don't take no for an answer. And also make sure you get a hysteroscopy. Anything else to try to do balance hormones, doing egg quality diet supplements, acupuncture. Make sure you're working on the mindset piece. Make sure you're sleeping well. Make sure exercise, like all the lifestyle stuff then too. If you're not feeling balanced and you're doing all those things, then it's coming from, more of the emotional lifestyle pieces that need to be looked at. So again, everything I recommend in, beyond diet and the egg quality diet is what I would look at. Okay, I guess I got about 5 more minutes. 37 years old, AMH, low AMH, high FSH. I also have H. pylori during a 4-month gut program. Do you think it'll balance? I'll be able to get pregnant naturally. I mean, no one can make that promise to you, but you would hope, right? So same reason of like, there's this underlying infection. We treat it. Things should regulate. I'd continue to do all the things. Yeah, Beauty in the Broth. So that might be a question for them, but I haven't seen my histamine girls react to it because it's a gelatin, and then you're kind of like reconstituting it right then and there when you drink it. The histamine's like quadruple as bone broth that's been cooked and made sits in the fridge, but this is a concentrate and dehydrated, so it should be very low histamine. Even with proper diet, there is low AMH when tested. What might be the reason? Is that stress? No, low AMH could just be that ovarian reserve is diminished. It could be that their ovarian health is compromised, so the blood flow is compromised, right? You have to remember AMH is secreted by the ovaries. So when AMH is low, you want to think about what's going on with the ovaries. Are they getting enough blood flow? Is there a cyst? Is there an endometrioma? Is there endometriosis? Is there some other inflammatory situation that's impacting ovarian function? So, and what you want to do is do anything you can do to improve ovarian function. So that's acupuncture, that's castor oil packs, Mayan abdominal massage, gua sha, ovarian PRP, like all those things. But just because AMH is low doesn't mean all your eggs are bad. One does not equal the other. And just because AMH is low does not mean you're out of eggs. Even women in menopause still have 1,000 eggs left. We know that. That's fact. That's science now. So you are not running on zero, right? You have eggs left. And so it's really about quality, not quantity. Stress will definitely impact things, right? Stress is very inflammatory. But and you want to think about the stress on your body, the stress of like your job or not sleeping enough or skipping meals or unhealthy relationships or, all of these things. Um, 42 AMH, I think it's 0.6, DOR diagnosed with stage 3 or 4 endo, 3 unsuccessful IVFs, no blast out of 10 embryos. Yeah, that's the endo doing that. Would you recommend lap to remove the endo? Probably. Or at the minimum, I would do egg quality diet in earnest for 100 days. Really work on inflammation in your body, Mayan massage, castor oil packs, acupuncture, Chinese herbs, but a lot of times too, needing a lap is important. When you have 10 embryos, so first of all too, the other thing is like I would do a much lower stim cycle the next time. At 42, you don't want high stims, and so those embryos could have kind of been compromised by the high dose meds if they gave you high dose. I'm just making a guess here. Again, I don't know your case, but no blast out of 10 embryos. The other thing is, why are we going out to blast? The research now supports there's no difference in PGT versus un-PGT. So why do it? Just freeze at day 3 is becoming my general recommendation at this point. So I think there's a couple things, to not do the same thing over and over again. So, I have hypothyroidism, started medicated T4 8 months ago, but now I have more symptoms and the ratio T3, T4 is off. I've heard about benefits of taking T3, but endocrinologists don't usually prescribe. Do you agree with, I do agree with treating the T3. I'm not, a thyroid expert in this particular case, but I have seen that really work. You just can't be on T3 only when you get pregnant, so sometimes they won't do it. Okay, guys, I love you. I'm going to have to go because I have a call. Okay, should I get my labs done before or after root canal? I would do it before, probably. Positive for endometritis, 5 miscarriages, weird rash. So I would think 5 miscarriages, autoimmune, inflammatory response. Go to the miscarriage panel, get all that testing done. Don't take no for an answer. Is 45 too old to have a baby? No, not that we see clinically. So what do you recommend pre, during IVF and the 2-week wait? So I have a 2-week wait checklist. If you go to AimEeRaupp.com/TWW, I think. Let me just double check myself. Yes. Oh, that's a 2-week wait meditation. Sorry. I have a 2-week wait checklist. Let me just see. What else would it be called? Let me just see if it's this. Yeah, 2-week, so TWW checklist. So AimEeRaupp.com/TWW for 2-week wait checklist. And that will give you all the information there. And now I really have to go. Okay, I'm sending you guys love. Bye.